Hi, I'm Dwayne Walker, and here it is, New Year's Eve, about to go into 2025, and I'm here to give you an update on my movie LAPU ONE, an American backslider in the Philippines. For those who have been watching this, who have been going to the GoFundMe page and watching the videos, you're kind of also seeing the creative process in works. And I kind of had a change on how I'm going to be pursuing something. It's still going to be a drama within an actual documentary, but let me explain what happened. Yesterday, I did an experiment because I've been seeing all these advertisements on Facebook regarding InVideo and a number of other programs they have where you just give them prompts and then you see hyper-realistic people going through the motions of whatever it is that you wrote in your script. But I'm finding out that, number one, that's not that easy. Number two, if you keep repeating it, you're still going to rack up the money, so the GoFundMe is still possible. Because I've been getting emails from people saying, well, why don't you just do it with AI? You'll save you money and all. But I wouldn't be getting the realism that I would want, and I wouldn't be getting the true stories that I would want to get from the Philippines. But needless to say, I did take a portion of the script that I wrote, and I went to InVideo, and I wanted to see how they would interpret it. Now, they didn't give me the animation that I wanted, because to do that, I would have to subscribe, buy some credits and all that, and that's one of the main reasons I'm doing this GoFundMe. So I just wanted to see, well, what would they come up with this script. Now, I already did that with my trailer concept video, and that looked pretty good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. LAPU ONE has been launched. The Philippines' first astronaut takes to space.
My brother will be the first Filipino in space. He's taking the Filipino flag, a photo of his family, and a rosary. His name is Lapu, like the fierce warrior who fought Magellan.
That looked pretty good as far as like a preview or coming attraction, but I didn't want this to be like a preview or coming attraction. I wanted it to be like an actual scene. And why they couldn't even just have just a few seconds of showing me what the animated style would be like with just one sentence. Hi, my name is Adarshini. Let me see what that looks like. But they didn't want that. Nobody wants anything unless there's any payment. But in any event, I still entered the script, and what I got back was absolutely hilarious. Portions of it were just hilarious. You could tell it was either, number one, not AI, or that my script may have went through some kind of a censorship board. I have no idea. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play for you now what InVideo did for me with this one little scene. And basically, this is a scene that happens at the very beginning where Adarshini is teaching her class. And she's teaching her class about how Lapu killed Magellan, and of course this was able to postpone the Spanish conquest of the Philippines. While she's doing that, her American friend, whose name is Chelsea Starr, and by the way, I should point out, has no relationship whatsoever to the Chelsea who was recently Miss Asia or Miss Universe Asia rather, because the character of Chelsea Starr comes from a book that I wrote called Deliver Him to Satan, which I've since taken off the market. But once this movie gets complete to my satisfaction, I'll probably release it, although my book does need some editors to give it a nice fine-tuned process. But in any event, they both went to the same Christian school together, and Chelsea's there with her video camera. And then there's another friend of Adarshini named Renata who is going to videotape them telling the story of what happened to them when they were at a Christian school in the United States. Now, when I was programming the computer to do this, I said, these are young women in their late 20s. The reason I did that is for some reason they kept giving me, little kids. And at one point, one of them says, oh, you're going to be asking me more softball questions. So what did AI do? It put them in the softball field. Go figure. Anyway, let me show you what InVideo did for me, and I'll come back every now and then for a comment if things get a little too ridiculous, which I'm telling you they will. Okay, watch this.
Thought they were going to be softball questions, didn't you?
If they were softball, I can always count on you to make them hardball. Hi, I'm Renata. Pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you from Adarshini. She always speaks so highly of you and your adventures together. You and Adarshini went to the same school in America? That must have been such an exciting time for both of you. I can imagine all the fun and challenges you faced together.
And in the Philippines. The landscapes there are breathtaking, and the culture is so rich and vibrant. It must have been an incredible experience to live and study there. My parents were missionaries when her parents put Adarshini up for adoption. They were deeply involved in the community and helped many families during their time there.
They helped facilitate the adoption. It was a complex process, but their dedication and compassion made it possible for Adarshini to find a loving home.
Wrong again. Number one, that's not what I wrote in the script. Number two, Adarshini does not find a loving home, believe you me. But where this is coming from is during a brief period of time from 2012 to about 2014, which is when I left Long Beach, California to come to Las Vegas. I was working with two different groups. One called Heal Incorporated, and the other one was Survivors of Institutional Abuse, where these were people who had been to fundamentalist Christian girls' homes, and they experienced the worst type of abuse. And in the process of working with them, there were some others who were adopted, and I found out some horrible things that go on in adoptions, especially in foreign countries, where you might have parents who are just so poor they can't afford the education. Well, if you believe in family values and you believe it's so important that the family should stay together, doesn't it make more sense to try to help out that family so they can support the education? No, what a lot of fundamentalist Christian organizations are doing is they just want to take the child from the parent. Well, adopt them out to a loving home, like in video, just ad-lib there. But my movie is going to be very critical of that, and one of the reasons I want to be in the Philippines is I would like to videotape people who have close experiences with those type of homes and those type of places. And by the way, did you know Tim Tebow was born in the Philippines? And he has his own charity out there too. A lot of Americans are preying on the Philippines. And I mean P-R-E-Y, not P-R-A-Y. Okay, back to the video.
I'm so glad I was able to get that annulled. It was a long and stressful journey, but the relief and happiness I felt afterward were indescribable. It sounds like you're still friends. That's wonderful to hear. Friendships like yours are rare and precious, and it's heartwarming to see that you've maintained such a strong bond over the years.
We were both abused by the same American pastor. It was a dark time in our lives, something we both struggled to overcome. The pain and trauma left deep scars that we carry to this day.
I know. She told me about that. It's heartbreaking to hear, and I can't imagine the strength it took for both of you to survive such an ordeal. I'm sorry that happened to you. No one should ever have to go through something so horrific. It's a tragedy that our community failed to protect us.
Yeah, it's terrible our church allowed that to happen. We trusted them and they let us down in the worst way possible. But we found a way to fight back, to reclaim our lives. But Adarshini took care of him. She showed incredible bravery and strength, something I will always admire.
What do you mean? How did she manage to confront him? It must have taken a lot of courage. She means, I shot the bastard dead.
Yeah, I'm surprised they kept that line in there. I really am. I'm so used to AI censoring me or giving me a hard time. Well, remember when I was talking about my book, Deliver Him to Satan? And I tried to see if I could use AI to edit. And when it came to all these passages that were describing horrific abuse, all ChatGPT kept doing was telling me that I needed to seek professional help. And I had to keep reminding it, this is fiction. This didn't really happen to me. This is a fiction. This is a novel. And it just kept saying, it didn't say I can't go forward with this, but it kept throwing it back at me, saying that I needed to get professional help. And so that kind of soured me on using AI for novel writing purposes. But I do like how they're taking the picture. It's not the animation that I'm used to seeing being advertised on Facebook, but they're choosing the right type of pictures, and I'm surprised that they are going this far. So let's continue.
I couldn't let him hurt anyone else. It was a decision I made in the heat of the moment, driven by a need to protect others. I was only 12 years old. It was a heavy burden to carry at such a young age, but I knew it was the right thing to do.
Okay. She does say that in the script. I think it was the right thing to do. But when you see the reactions of the other people, it's obviously their opinion. The way this is coming out, it sounds like I'm recommending it, which I'm not. So once again, I'm going to give AI some kudos here, though, because I'm surprised that they got it, that they were able to go this far on it without trying to censor me. But yeah, she does say it's the right thing to do, but in no way does this video advocate any type of violence or anything like that. The book that Addershini comes from does not advocate the violence, and this movie does not advocate violence at all. So just want to make sure you know. But this is something that does happen in her story.
That, I didn't know. It's shocking to hear, but it makes sense now. You were incredibly brave. Yeah, I don't tell that story to everyone. It's a part of my past that I keep hidden, but it's also a testament to the strength we all have within us.
And that's why I'm here. I've been thinking about this moment for a long time, and I believe it's finally the right time to share my story. It's not just about me, but about everyone who has been a part of this journey. I would like to interview you about it. There are so many details that need to be captured, and I think your perspective will add a lot of depth to the narrative. Just to get the story down once and for all, it's important that we document everything accurately, so future generations can understand what really happened.
Well, you can never run from your past. Might as well. I've been carrying these memories for so long, and maybe it's time to let them out. It's not easy, but it's necessary.
You mean now? I wasn't expecting to start immediately, but I guess there's no time like the present.
Why not? We're here and everything is set up. Let's make the most of this moment.
Renata, can you hold the camera? I trust you to capture everything perfectly. I was kinda involved in this story, and I don't want to make any technical goof-ups. It's crucial that we get this right, and I know you'll do a great job.
Sure, I can hold the camera. I'm honored to be a part of this, and I'll make sure to capture every important moment.
Well, the camera they're supposed to be holding down, not little kids holding flashlights, but okay. But you get the kind of the idea that that's her backstory, and of course what happens is she winds up being adopted by a wealthy humanist home, or benefactor rather, and she winds up working for a law office as an apprentice, starts making a lot of money, and is able to put her brother through school. Her brother happens to be named LAPU, and then, as you saw in some of the previous videos, he becomes the Philippines' first astronaut. Kind of like bringing back the spirit of the original LAPU, but again, that's another story. But this video, I'm not saying that it can't be animated or that portions of it can't be animated, but what I am thinking about is, if you go on Facebook and all, you'll find that there are people who do animation for dirt cheap in the Philippines as well as in places like Africa. And I don't necessarily want to work with them per se, but some of the nonprofit organizations I'm working with and some of the people that I know in the Philippines might be able to actually help animate this dramatic portion. And what I'm thinking about is this would be a movie about the making of this movie, LAPU ONE. And then as we're making the movie and we interview the people who are bringing themselves up to speed to give the correct prompts, how did they get there? What was their background like? I see high tech as probably the way for the Philippines to eventually find prosperity. And so this would be a great way to show what's happening in the high tech world in the Philippines. So that's where I see the movie going at this point. Again, people keep saying, go to AI, you'll save money. It's not going to save me money. It really isn't. Because when it comes to animation, if you get it wrong the first time, you got to do it again, and guess what? They're going to be charging you more money, more credits, and on and on and on. So we still have the GoFundMe, and right now the GoFundMe is doing pretty well. At this stage, the GoFundMe is 9% funded, and so that's pretty good. Give to this project. This is going to be very important. And another thing, we're going to have a change of administrations very soon. And we don't know what in the world is going to happen to United States foreign aid. That could dry up if Mr. Elon Musk convinces everybody to vote against U.S. aid to other countries, to the Philippines. They won't have anything. So again, movies like this will be very important, especially when it comes to fundraising and to bringing in some money to help some of these nonprofit organizations. But I thank you for watching. Have a happy new year. And I encourage you to give to this project, LAPU ONE, an American backslider in the Philippines. And you'll see me come back with some more updates when there's more updates to be had.